Hey there, this is Scott. We're back out at the homestead. Monday, we packed everything up in Florida, got out of the house, cleaned it out, and today it's Saturday. And the mover should be arriving in a little bit here to unpack and move stuff into the house. Going to try to do another little time lapse on the camera, see if I can catch some of that moving action going on. We've got everything cleaned up inside the house. Kate's been working furiously. She's cooking some bacon and eggs right now for breakfast, so gonna have to head back in there in a second and try to get some of that before everybody arrives here. But we've got shops open, the stores open, and the house is open, and I think we're in a place where we can move everything in. Ideally, the rain that we got just a little bit of rain this morning. I don't think it's soaked everything down, so we're gonna be tracking a bunch of mud inside. Hopefully that is the case, but we will see. We got it all clean, and we'll have to see. We may need to clean it again right after this, but kind of exciting. All the stuff from there is coming here. We can fill it out a little bit more with a little bit more furniture. So with that said, I'll start running some of the time-lapse video that we got there, and I need to head inside and get some breakfast. Good morning. Well, I did not manage to record as much as the moving as I wanted to record. So the movers got here. It was a little bit of a, what do you want to say, a cluster getting the moving stuff brought into the house. So we had a bit of an issue because movers came down. The guy that was driving the truck I'd give instructions to, and he found the place pretty quick. But we had a couple of other guys that were going to help us move things into the house, and they couldn't find the place. So had to give them some more specific instructions, sent them a direct Google Maps link, and then they were able to find us just because we're not really all that tough to find. So, but these guys had a tough time finding us anyway. But that's all right. Once they got here, it took about maybe 2 hours, a little bit more, to move everything into the house. Had Andrew and Jake help move boxes around, and then Kate spent most of the day unpacking stuff in the house and getting it ready. She directed a lot of the traffic, stood out there and told them where to go. And that was part of why there's not a lot of footage, is it started pouring rain while they were moving stuff in. Had they gotten here on time, I think, the two guys that were moving stuff, we might have been able to eke it out without the rain, at least like some of the heavy stuff. It did clear off towards the end, but they got hit pretty hard right in the middle of that. So Kate stood out by the truck because the truck couldn't get as close as he wanted. There were some low-hanging branches in one of the trees that we have out front that, had I had my saw, which was packed in the stuff, I could have cut it off, but it was just a little bit too low for him to get the truck up much closer. So they had to walk a little ways across the yard in order to bring everything in. Not too horrible. And they got a little bit wet. So it poured for a bit, and then it stopped towards the end. Kate was out there with her umbrella, kind of directing traffic, because we had 3 different places that we wanted stuff to go. Some went into the house, Some of it went into the shop where I'm at now, and some of it went into the store for storage for later. So things needed to be divvied up a little bit. We had a little bit of mismovement of things going to the wrong areas, but we had the boys here. They moved some stuff back and they helped unpackage a little bit of stuff. And then Kate spent the evening unpacking. I got up actually earlier this morning and came out here to the shop and unpacked some stuff in the shop. The house is looking pretty good. Kate's got it in good shape. The shop, I finally got everything out of boxes. Nowhere near organized, but it's a start. So I'm starting to get stuff to a spot where I can get at it. Also, we were out here a day before the movers got here, and I was able to, one of the things I want to do is there's this foam roofing that had been in here, and I believe they had it in here to keep the heat out because it's just the metal up top and the heat comes right in during the summer. What I'd like to do is move the insulation up closer to the tin in the roof. Hopefully use the bottom of the roof rafters to put the foam up there. You guys let me know if that's a good idea or not. I would like to do that because it would give me more space, and I think that will work out just fine. That should still leave me a gap. If I go at the bottom of the rafters, I still want to have that gap. It's going to allow air to go up and out through the top because there's a little bit of there's a little ridge vent up there, so we should be okay to let that air go out the top and then come in from the sides. I think if I were to put it like right up against the metal or try to get it up there nice and tight, we may end up with some problems. So that's why I was thinking on putting it on the bottom of the rafters. Let me know what you guys think about that. Do you have recommendations around that? The other thing is there are a lot of mud dauber nests in here. So I don't see any that are active right now. It did get down to, what was it, low 40s last night. It was, oh wow, it was like mid 80s, I think, while we were moving stuff in the rain afterwards. It heated up and got pretty steamy. And then this morning it was pretty cold. So we've had some pretty good back and forth weather. I think high today maybe mid 60s if I recall correctly. So I don't know, maybe it's been too cold thus far for the mud daubers to get in here. But there is a lot of mud dauber nests up and around and through everything. So I don't know if they will be active later in the year or if these are just old nests from them having a lot of access in here and it's not a thing. It's, I guess, one of those things that we'll find out this year. So the other thing is I pushed there's a lot of straw and wood chips and things on the floor in here. So once everything came, I was able to get the blower out and use a blower to just blow all the gook out of here, which has cleaned up the floor a lot. And it's kind of interesting because on the floor, what it's got, it's in, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's in kind of rough shape right now. So what we've got is there's this particle board that's coming apart underneath it, and that's been nailed to the floor. Underneath it, there's some thin metal. And what's really interesting about the thin metal is it's got printing on it. Like it came from it looks like it came from a grocery store because it has lists of like costs of bananas and things like that on the metal, which I don't understand. Maybe you guys know why thin metal would have printing like that on it. It's like it's from a marketplace or something. Did they used to package stuff in thin metal and maybe this person used that underneath the floor? So anyway, you've got the particle board that's nailed to the floor. You've got this metal that is also nailed to the floor underneath that. And then you've got the old floor, the old wooden floor that's underneath all of that. So the particle board, I think, needs to go at this point in time. Most of it, it's probably, I would say it's maybe a third to a half of it has just disintegrated at this point in time. That doesn't count the top layer. That's just like actual access to the floor. So I think that needs to go. I think the metal needs to come off also because there's a bunch of bare spots where the metal has worn away or rubbed off inside here. The particle boards had there's been like tractor repair in here, and then there were chickens on top of that. So there's just a lot of kind of gunk in the particle board at this point in time, which is not unexpected. I mean, it's a shop on a homestead, so you kind of expect stuff to get in there. But I think it's time as us coming in to clean it up, and I want to do something different there. I need to figure out what to lay down on top of these boards and build up to get a better flooring situation in here. One of the things that will be tough to deal with is nails, nails, nails. So there's nails for the original board, nails for the metal that's in here, nails for the particle board. And most of them, they're sticking up all over the place. It's going to be a lot of pulling of nails. I don't know if I can get something that I can drop on top of that will absorb the difference in the nails. Most of them at least probably need to be pounded down so it's flat, but there's a lot of nail removal. If you got a good nail removal tool, let me know about that too, because I think I'm going to end up pulling a whole lot of nails in here. But I've got all my stuff spread out. We're unboxed at this point in time. There was a drill press. It was my sister-in-law's drill press that was in the shed out there that has not been put together. Managed to get it put together and it works. So I'm super excited about that because I haven't had a drill press. I've got a bandsaw, table saw, cutoff saw, miter saw. I've got a bunch of other tools, but drill press isn't something that was in my stack of stuff yet. So it was pretty cool to get that going. She's got a bench grinder too that hadn't been taken out of the box yet. I finally have room to like get this stuff out and kind of set up, get a shop going here. The other thing is at the house currently, I've got a bunch of 3D printing stuff that I do, and I'm hoping I can use some of this space to do the 3D printing and the resin printing. If I can keep the temperature, I need to figure out how to control the temperature in here. And then the resin printing, some of the resin that I've been using has been aimed at low odor because I've been running it in the house, and I could start looking at some of the little bit potentially better, more stinky resins if I start running it in here, and then it can have some good airflow in here. So have to figure out what to do with all of that. Need to get a bunch of pegboard in here also to hang up the tools, because both places I've had pegboard to hang all my stuff, and right now it's just a lot of it's on the bench and it's not spread out very well. So lots of things to do here, just projects galore. I'll try to get maybe a walk around and some pictures of the house and how it's set up. And I'll do some pictures of the store also. We're just using it for storage, like I said, at this point in time. Not ready to get anything going in there yet, and there's going to need to be some work done in there. The other thing is the grass is growing out here, so we're going to need to figure out how to handle that. We've from Florida, we've got a little electric push mower, but I don't think we're going to be running, whatever it is, 50 to 100 yards of extension cord trying to push that around and mow the lawn out here. So we're going to have to get a mower of some sort. I've got a little riding, I think it's a Troy-built mower back at the house. I think that's what it is. But I don't think that little that little tractor, it's just a little tractor mower, I don't think it's going to handle it out here. So we used to have, we stayed on some acreage when Kate and I first got married, and we had a ZTR out there. I can't remember what the model was, but it was really cool. So I think we're going to end up with something like that out here. So if you have recommendations on homestead, something that I can look at doing, maybe, I don't know that we're going to mow all of it. We're definitely not going to mow all of this out here, but we'll probably be mowing a good, maybe up to 3 acres worth of it with a ZTR. So if you have recommendations on zero turn radius mowers that can handle homestead stuff, we don't have a whole lot of slope. There's a little bit, but it's not too bad. And there's going to be some, I want to say, well, my only fear is there's been some burns out there that the previous residents did where it's going to be a little bit dicey as to what's in those piles. And if they're hidden by the grass, we might hit a few things. So a ZTR that can take a little bit of a hit might be a good thing, not one that's like easy to break. So let me know what you think on that one. If you got opinions on ZTR mowers on the homestead, you have some good options out there. Price range will be interesting. We're not looking for the cheapest one, but we want to get value for what we spend. So don't have to suggest the cheapest thing that you can find out there. Anyway, let me know in the comments. Good suggestions for that. And then I'm going to do some walking around. We'll take some pictures. I may end up with a little bit more video, but we'll take some pictures of the store and the house and just show you how everything's shaping up now that we've got some of our own stuff out here. We've been actually able to fill it up and start making it look a little bit more homey on the homestead. Another thing we added this weekend, it came out early Friday morning and just got eaten up by mosquitoes, which was kind of odd because it was close to 40. It was pretty cold outside, and I was amazed that there were mosquitoes out. While we were in town, stopped by the hardware store and I picked up these Spartan Mosquito, supposed to protect like an acre worth of land. And I got 2 of those and put them out around the house. Kind of filled them up. Now I must say that I don't know if they work just amazingly well, but I haven't seen any mosquitoes since I put those up. It's only been a couple of days, but it seems to be doing the trick. So do you guys have any experience with these? Have these been just a total bust for you, or do they seem to really do the job? I don't know if it's just cold outside, so the mosquitoes are staying away and I just had bad luck that one day, or if these are doing their thing. So opinions on these? Is this a bad spend, or are these something that have been working great for you all out there? We had gotten a hold of Windstream because Windstream was the provider for the person that was out here before us. And we said, hey, can we get internet out to the house? And we're like, oh yeah, we can do that. Not a problem. We can get you 100 meg internet. We're like, oh my God, that's amazing. We're in the middle of nowhere. That would be fantastic. The only problem was that they had to do the install during the week. So we had to make some time out here. We finally found some time to be out here bright and early during the week. We got out here and the installer called us up and said, oh, the location that you're at, we can't do internet. We can only do phone out there. So Windstream did not work out for us. Disappointing, because 100 meg internet would have been really nice. Figured it was too good to be true, and it was too good to be true. I had a previous plan, and this right here is my previous plan. So the previous plan is Verizon for internet. Now, I've got a Orbi. It's a Netgear router. It's an Orbi that takes your little SIM card that you can plop in there, and there is a tower that's not too far that direction. So I have an external antenna pointing at the tower, and right now I can get 25 meg up, I believe, and about 100 meg down. So not too bad. We'll just have to see how the caps and stuff kick in. Try to make sure I'm not downloading a whole lot of big stuff over my connection while I'm out here. Usually I don't have to move a whole lot of VMs or pull ISOs down, but it does happen on occasion, and a little bit of that could get me in trouble. When the boys are out here, they tend to install VMs, and I've got one that likes to do Linux distribution, so we're going to have to watch that data cap and see how we do. Starlink, I'm signed up for Starlink. We'll see if that happens. If it happens this year, that may be the answer. We'll have to see. But this seems to be working great right now, so very happy with this. It's a Netgear Orbi router that takes the SIM card and is able to push internet around the house. Now, I do think I'm going to have to get some extensions because it's a mesh network, and I'm going to need to push it out to the other buildings that are here on the property. I'm hoping to get some external connectors to be able to do that. Now, next question is, we have this AC unit right here. The AC unit's really old. I've been looking online about units that do a mix of, they can do heat, they can do cooling, and some of them are acting as a dehumidifier. So I wanted to know what your thoughts on those were. We're thinking about getting one to replace this unit. We do not like the propane heat inside the house. We want to get rid of, there's 3 propane heaters inside the house, and would like to remove that and go with something else. So one of the thoughts is, if we replace this unit with a unit that does both cold and heat, maybe we can use that to heat the house and not have to use propane units inside the house. Anybody have experience with those? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Have a recommendation for a model. The house is roughly, I'm going to say 900 square feet. It's like that 1,000-ish square feet range. So a bigger unit, I think, should be able to service the house as long as we can get the airflow going around. So let me know what you think. If you have models that you recommend, or if you don't even recommend going that way, let me know. Would also like to do a little wood burning stove inside the house. We have one of the things we brought from Florida was a little electric fireplace that puts out a little bit of heat. It did enough to take when it got really cold in Florida, it took the chill out of the house, but I don't know if that's going to cut it in the winter here. Plus, I'd like to have another option that's not an electricity option. So the combo unit is going to potentially be the easy thing, but I think also we'll end up with a wood stove in there of some sort as supplementary heat. So anyway, let me know what you think. Do you recommend the combo units or not? Have they been good for you? Have there been problems for you? Have you got a combo unit that was amazing? Let me know in the comments. So we'll have to see if it comes across or not, but I've got these little alarms going off inside the place that's supposed to scare the bugs away. But what I really wanted to talk about is I've got this other task that I need to figure out. I think I figured something out about this door. You can see here's our patio set from Florida. It's got the little pineapple on it. I believe my brother made those, so pretty awesome stuff. But the project I've got to figure out is this door right here. This door goes to this little side room, and I was stumped a little bit because it's got these hinges on here that are right here on the side. But what I've got is here, what I think has happened is there was a board that ran back here, which looks like with the nails, there's some nails that are right up in here. And I think there was a beam that ran back through here because the door is not as wide as the whole frame. So I think what we've got going on is there was a board in there that was actually screwed into the board, part of the frame. So I'm going to need to get that in there in order to make that door close properly once again. I'm not sure what the heck they were doing. It's got screws on the side of it, like it was screwed shut at one point. So yeah, guess what? Another project. Of the house here. Now the back of the house, you can see we've got this little door that sticks out, and it's just got a little staircase, and the sun actually would rise kind of right into that. And Kate and I like to come out in the morning and drink our coffee and kind of take the morning in, and we think if we had a little deck right there, it would be a great place to do that type of thing. So here's my question. I know I can get like deck packages pretty easy, and I don't think plans would be all that tough to come up with. I'm not too concerned about the deck piece of it. There is one part of the deck piece that I'm concerned about, and that's attaching the ledger board to the metal siding there. So do you have recommendations on how to attach that ledger board to the metal siding? I imagine I can go find some videos, but I wanted to see if anybody had any comments on first-hand experience, best way they've done that to keep it from rotting and from having problems with your siding, making sure to keep the waterproofing on your siding so you don't get any penetration from water coming off the deck and getting into there. So let me know if you got some tips on that one. Would love to hear what it is you got to say, but that should be a project I hope to get done this summer, one of the longer weekends, or maybe if I can get a whole week out here, we'll see if we can get that done.